Hi, guys. Welcome to my podcast, Hot Mess Hate, where we do real talk about real things from the silly to the serious. Before we get into today's podcast, let's talk about that freaking Wondershare watermark on my podcast. Since I'm not sure, or I wasn't sure, I don't know, I'm not sure, I guess, whether or not I'm actually going to keep doing these, I downloaded free software to use. I knew there would be a watermark stuck on my video, but I was a little surprised about the exit image at the end. I didn't actually see that until after I had published the video and I was watching it through. I should have probably watched it through before I published it, but apparently I fly by the seat of my pants, which those of you who know me know I do. Totally not a fan of the exit slide. Maybe because I was surprised by it. I have a paid content software in mind that I think I'd like to purchase if I decide to actually keep doing podcasts. So maybe sometime soon you'll see a podcast without that annoying watermark and definitely without the exit image. Or, maybe I'll just use this podcast as an excuse to get the software since I like doing videos and I wanted the software anyway. We'll see. And on to other things. So, I want this podcast to discuss a range of topics from things that are totally inconsequential but amusing to current events to other serious topics. Since this is only episode 2, I kind of struggled with which direction to take this particular episode, but I'm currently taking a couple days off work for no other purpose than to just recharge. That's something I don't allow myself to do very often, even when I know I need the downtime. So, for today's podcast, I thought we could talk about one aspect of mental well being: the need to allow yourself to take a break when you need it. Like most of you, I'm pretty busy. We're all busy, right? I commute more than 2 hours a day to go to work at a full-time job where I have to be responsible. It's a great job. I love it. It's multifaceted. It keeps me super engaged. I work with really fantastic people. I love them. I absolutely love my job. But sometimes, maybe fairly often, this job that I love has me spending more time at work than I actually get paid for. I love it, but it can be super stressful. Outside of work, I just finished a master's degree, so now I have some extra time on the weekends and in evenings, which might actually be why I suddenly feel like I have time to start a podcast. And I also volunteer a couple days a week at a local horse rescue. Totally, definitely therapeutic because who doesn't love to pick up horse poop, right? Horses are awesome, but doing the feed shifts can also be somewhat stressful. There's a lot that goes into care and feeding of the horses, and making sure that they're squared away and good to go. Even if we're just volunteering for a couple of shifts a week, that's just a little bit of added pressure, right? At home, I have a zoo. I have an absolutely amazing husband. How do you like? I started my zoo talk with my husband. He's awesome. He's very busy. He's always into things. I have a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old son, both of whom are also very busy and into things. I have a dog who is a handful. She likes to bark. We talked about that before. I've got 3 cats. They're all on different feeding schedules. I have 11 chickens with a lot of personality, and we have to keep up with care and feeding for all of those guys. And I have a school of fish that I haven't talked to you guys about yet. Right now, they're low maintenance because it's winter, thankfully. But they all need the mama or the wife, if we're talking about my amazing husband, when I'm home, which is awesome. I totally love my family, but sometimes I just need to decompress. For me, that means doing something quiet and by myself. Sometimes I color. I'll talk to you sometime about the creative slash offensive coloring book my youngest son got me for Christmas this past Christmas sometime. Um, the title of it was Motivational Offensive. I'm actually coloring a picture in it right now, so hold on, let me read it to you. The title is You Bleeping Got This Motivational Swear Words Coloring Book. My children know me well, and I laughed, but there were definitely some things in there that I would not consider motivational. He got it for me from Amazon, sight unseen. He just saw that it was a swear words coloring book. And full disclosure, I have a potty mouth that I'm trying to not sprinkle into my podcast. It'll probably come through at some point and I won't even realize it. Anyway, so he got it sight unseen from Amazon, and we kind of cringed a little bit when we were going through it. I had previously gotten something very similar for a sick family member, and after receiving this for Christmas, I sent her a message and apologized, and she laughed at me and told me she had colored pictures in it too, so I guess it's okay. Anyway, so sometimes I color. Music is a thing that I love. Sometimes I grab a guitar and learn to play another chord. Sometimes I play really loud music. Sometimes I go for a bike ride or a walk or run. It's cold right now though, so that will require some serious bundling up, especially if I'm going to go cycling. So maybe I need more cold weather gear. Sometimes I grab a glass of wine and binge watch Harry Potter. Sometimes it's something else. But when I need to recharge, I need to do it usually through quiet and alone time. For a long time, I felt guilty for decompressing. The need to take time to be alone just made me feel like there was something wrong with me. I used to bully myself for not spending every waking moment with my family or not doing something that I thought that someone wanted me to do, whatever that thing was. So I would do it and try to be everything that everyone else needed at the expense of being what I needed or doing what I needed. I used to tell myself, and sometimes I still catch myself doing it, but I used to tell myself that the need to recharge was just a weakness and that I needed to do better. And thinking that way turned my alone time, my recharge time into something to feel guilty about. And ultimately it made it so that I couldn't recharge. I would constantly be thinking about all the other things that I should be doing as opposed to getting the quiet time I needed to feel rejuvenated. The thing is, we need to do better. I operated burnt out and near empty for years, and I'm sure that some of you guys do too. We need to do better about taking time when we need it and taking care of ourselves. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I just need to do better. But I feel like I'm probably not alone. I think a lot of us push ourselves to the brink of mental exhaustion before we take time to recharge. I'm not actually sure why we do that. Our families are happier when we're happy. We're happier when we're recharged. Our home life is more peaceful if we're not falling apart inside and leaking anger and broken bits all over the people we love. And we're happier and better people if we're taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves what we need, right? You are just as important as the people you care for. If you're not giving yourself what you need, at some point, you're not going to be able to give others what they need. I'm in my 40s. Over the past several years, anytime I have taken time off work, that time has been devoted to classwork and getting the house clean because I didn't have time to do it because I was doing classwork or other like minutia that is a part of life that has to get done, but is totally not recharge time, right? Even when I've been sick, I've been at home, and thank you, COVID. Now we all know that we can do work while we're home. So I wasn't getting better. I was getting better, but I was not recharging at all because I was working while I was sick. I still do that instead of taking time to heal. So this past week, I decided I was burnt out and I just needed a break. So I decided to take 6 days off in a row and immediately decided to start a podcast because apparently I must always fill my spare time with some sort of a project. But this is a project that I wanted to do, so it's recharge time for me. Anyway, I purposely chose to take days off when I knew everyone else in the house would be at work or school because recharging for me when I'm near empty means I need alone time. For once, I refuse to feel guilty for taking some time to recharge, even when that doesn't look like I think it should. So, for you listening, take time to recharge when you need it, whatever that looks like for you. Treat yourself like your best friend. You're the only one that has to spend time in your head. Make it a nice place to be. Give yourself the same grace that you would extend to your best friend if they needed to recharge. So, I'm off to go put my running clothes on and get some exercise. And when I get back, maybe I'll pop some popcorn and binge watch the Harry Potter series. Or maybe Hunger Games. Maybe both.